Okay, I wanted to make a video now about how to make an awesome pasta. So I wanted to make it just a short video, and maybe I can demonstrate later. So today, the newest update to my pasta making at home is I don't make the pasta from scratch, but I mean like cooking pasta that you buy in a packet. You know what I mean? Um, like what I've been doing is I went to the fruit and vegetable shop today. The what do you call it? Like the produce shop, the fruit shop, whatever. And I went and bought a bunch of basil, and actually the basil, like a fresh basil, and it smells so good. It's like far out. How does this fucking smell so good? You know what I mean? And like I met an Italian once on the way to like it was when I was in Melbourne for the MotoGP a couple of years ago, and I was talking to an Italian guy of Italian heritage, and like he told me about being Italian, and then I said, "Oh yeah, have a go at this." I showed him some of my groceries. We were on the tram, or like on a tram heading back towards where I was staying, and he was on the same tram, and I was like, "Hey, have a go at this," and I showed him some pasta, and he goes, "Oh, good, yeah." And then I say, "Look at this," and I showed him some olive oil, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And then I showed him some balsamic vinegar and things like that. And then I said, "How does that make you feel?" And he says, "Hungry." And then he said, "You should try." Not that I put balsamic vinegar in my pasta, but like he said, "You should try basil in your pasta." And I haven't done it since then. But the other day on a pizza, there was some basil. So I decided, okay, finally I'm going to buy some basil this time. And I put it in a pasta I cooked yesterday. And when I went to heat it up, I added basil to it. So that's basil, and how good, like the aroma. It's about the whole experience, the aroma, the color, the freshness of the leaves, the flavor. It affects the flavor a little bit. It's nice. Um, so that, like basil, and keeping this video short, I wanted to also talk about other changes. So um, I understand that adding sugar to your pasta, just like a bit of a pinch of sugar, maybe in the sauce as you're cooking it or something, um, that can bring out the flavor, as opposed to just trying to keep adding salt and salt and salt and maybe spice and things like that to bring out the flavor of the sauce. If you add a bit of sugar to it, it amplifies the flavor in another way that just is pleasant. You don't have to add too much, but just experiment, like, and go, oh yeah, and then mixing it through, not necessarily sprinkled on top of your plate, but you could do that if you really wanted. But in your sauce, if you add a little bit of sugar and you taste the sauce, you go, oh yeah. And as it starts to cool down, of course, when it's on your plate, that's when you can taste the flavor better. I think because when you're eating something hot at the time, it may not have enough flavor, and you may think, "Oh, I got to add more salt here or something." But actually, it's because it's too hot, and you can't taste. Your taste buds probably can't work at that temperature. You know what I mean? It's like fuck, like this is too hot. It's like you can't feel. It can't taste the food properly. Your taste buds. So wrapping up the video in the last maybe 30 seconds or so. Or let's go to 420 because that's everyone loves that number. So let's go there. Yeah, so the sugar. And the other cool thing that I'd like to add about talking about making my pasta better is adding a bit of olive oil, of course, helps. And I don't know if the quality of the olive oil makes a difference, but I use extra virgin olive oil. And yeah, it's like it definitely brings out the flavor in the pasta. And maybe one last thing would be in the water when I'm boiling the water before I add in the pasta to boil it. I add in a couple of teaspoons of salt in the water for the pot because apparently the water in the pot has to be salty like the sea, and then the salt is through the pasta, it's absorbed in the pasta as opposed to adding it on top of the pasta at the end. You can taste it through the pasta. So we'll leave it there for now. Some cool ideas. Adding enough salt to the water when you're boiling. It should taste pretty damn salty. The hot water, like if you just taste a little bit after you let a bit cool down, and adding a little bit of sugar in the sauce, besides of course salt. You know what I mean? Yeah, and and basil as well. So today I experimented with the basil, and I tried to put it in a pot to see if it will take root, because it came with roots. All right, have a good one. Hope you give those things a try. All right, cheers. Thank you.